What's up, everybody? It's a Friday, TGIF Friday. Checking the dial. Sounds looking good. How's everybody doing? It's been a long week. I've been extremely busy. Sorry I haven't been able to keep up with as many episodes as I possibly can. Today we're going to talk about evictions. Evictions in the state of Florida. The expiration of the eviction moratorium. How Trump's executive order on moratorium on evictions isn't worth the paper it's written on, and how a lot of people are going to be extremely hurt, and where the opportunity is in this eviction/foreclosure market.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
In case you don't know me, you haven't been here for some time, my name is Barry Cunningham. I am a real estate investor, been so for about 25 years here in South Florida. Been involved in 1,000+ transactions on one or the other side, and now with the opportunity zones here in South Florida, also looking to do some developments. So if you're looking to get involved in some of these developments, please go ahead and give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. See if we can't discuss some ways for you to park your money and get a really decent return on real estate investment and real estate development here in South Florida. That being said, let's jump right to it. So, we've heard so much about this eviction moratorium that's basically been going on since March and February, all the way through now here in August. And it expires on September 2nd. Actually expires on September 1st, but September 2nd is when the floodgates are expected to fly open. So I'm wondering how people are going to deal with that. I'm wondering how people are going to be able to overcome what's about to happen. Looks like my voice is a little bit off. I have to check my processing there. But nonetheless, here we are. Here we are. We're about to just see a tsunami wave of evictions. And you don't have to take my word for it. So let's go to the board here. And so what we see right off the bat here is we see an article on CNBC, and it says that President Trump's executive order is not going to basically help the people that think are going to be helped with this eviction moratorium. Now, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because it doesn't spell anything out. So you're going to have to really take a look at this. And as you take a look at it, really understand what's going on here. So the president makes this order, and in great pomp and circumstance goes out there and signs these 4 executive orders. And one of them is supposedly for putting a moratorium on evictions. Everybody clapped, was happy, whether you're a supporter of his or not. Everyone thought this was a great deal. But as you dug deeper, as you begin to dig into this and what it actually says nothing more than basically, hey, Carson, you guys over at the HUD, can you take a look at this? Can you basically just take a look and tell me if we can do anything? You guys go ahead and check it out and let me know. And so what ends up happening is you look at this order or memorandum, however you want to call it, and it basically instructs the Department of Health and Human Services, HUD, and some other, whether temporarily banning residential evictions is reasonably necessary to prevent further spread of the COVID. Law is very, very succinct. It tells you what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to infer. There's no gray lines here. And with this executive order, all it does is instruct a couple agencies to go check some things out. Tell me if we need to do this. Could they have not done that before he did the order? Could they have not decided that, hey, listen, we really need to take a look at this because these people are going to get screwed? Now, to no fault of many of their own, yeah, especially in areas where businesses were closed, which was definitely down here in South Florida. Northern Florida, I'm not really sure of, but here in South Florida, there was a tremendous impact. Many businesses got shut down, and many businesses continue to be shut down. I mean, there's not a movie theater you can go anywhere. Restaurants are at 25% occupancy, which is fine if you're a patron. But some of the restaurants that used to jam and need 50% occupancy, hotels, bars, forget about it. So I don't think we need to have a discussion as to whether or not the COVID impacted people and whether it's reasonably necessary to prevent further spread, or to identify funds that could potentially be used to help renters. It doesn't do anything. So just right off the bat here, before we get into things, we're only 6 or 7 minutes in. We're going to have to say, just take it off your head. If you think that the president issued a moratorium on evictions, it did not happen. Sorry to be the one to break it to you, especially with only 2 weeks to go. But he didn't do it. Not even close. Yeah, he could still possibly do it, but if you understand how things have moved over the last 6 or 7 months, the president doesn't have the power to tell a state what to do. I mean, just think of it this way before you argue with me. If you've driven up and down I-95, anywhere on I-95, what's the federal speed limit? And then you cross into some states like South Carolina and Georgia where you're on 95 and it's a straight shot. And your speed limit is a completely different number. Why? Because the state set it. Think of marijuana. In certain states, you have the ability to smoke pot. Other states, you can't. In terms of like what Biden said last night, he wants to do a federal mask mandate. You can't do that. It sounds good on television, but he can't make every state do that. You can't tell you, hey, people in Florida have to wear a mask. No, DeSantis doesn't have to abide by that. Now, understanding where Trump could really do some things is by saying, hey, listen, if you guys don't put a moratorium on foreclosures, we're going to take money from your highway to help people who need help with their rent. See, there's different ways he can do that, but that's not what this particular moratorium or attempt at a moratorium did. This is nothing more than an instruction for people to check out to see if people need help. Basically, he bought some time and a photo op. And, I am not talking politically here. I'm talking about real estate. And what we're seeing with real estate is that this basically didn't do diddly. It's not going to stop an eviction. I don't think it was even designed to stop an eviction. I think it was designed to show people basically he's trying to do something, but it's not going to work. So this was on CNBC. You can look it up yourself. You can see what's on here. You can actually go through it yourself and figure it out, read it, understand what it's saying. But what it definitely doesn't say, and it surely doesn't say, that evictions are stopped. Doesn't say it at all. So I'm not sure what people are expecting, but I'll be back with you in less than 30 seconds. We're going to talk about something, and I want you guys to see what we can do with helping people out of evictions and foreclosures, and get yourself some opportunity as well.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So, that being said, let's go ahead and move on to something here. And again, now we're going to see something that was posted most recently. And this is from the Washington Post. And it says, Trump says he's stopping evictions. Here's why they're still happening. Well, I explained to you why they're still happening. There's no secret, because he can't stop the courts from making them go through the process. And I just spent a good 10 minutes showing you guys that, so there's no reason to go over it. Just understand. Now, how many people are going to be affected here? So I saw this site. I'm not really familiar with it. It's called Florida Phoenix. It's got some good information on this site, but they're talking about 800,000 people. And no, let me back that up. 800,000 renters across the state of Florida. Now, you can take families and add on to that number. So if there's 3 people in a house, you're talking 2.4 million people being affected here. That's absolutely mind-blowing. I can't even think to what that kind of impact in the real estate market and in humanity in general is going to be like. Even though I've been accused of being a bottom feeder and taking advantage of people in foreclosure, I've heard that for decades. But these people are going to get crushed. There's basically no, if there's 800,000 renters at risk, that's basically almost a third of the total renters. In this article, it says there's 2.7, let me put that up here, there's 2.7 million rental units. So if 800,000 of them are at risk, that means almost a third of the people who are renting homes, apartments, are in trouble. That's absolutely massive. That's taking an entire city and throwing them out on a street. Entire city. There are cities that don't have 800,000 people. And that's just renters. That doesn't include their family. So people, that's taking possibly a couple million people and saying, get out. Can you even comprehend that? Can you comprehend that there could be 2 million people plus out in the street? I mean, it's just amazing in terms of the numbers. That's just beyond comprehension. 2.7 million. And this thing expires on September 1st. So September 2nd, the courts are going to start. Now here's where something's really big that a lot of people don't know, forgot, didn't know. And this is where it's really scary, is that the first 2 or 3, however many of them there were, moratoriums that DeSantis put out there, it stopped everything in its tracks immediately. No more filings, no executions, no summons, nothing. However, there was language put into the last moratorium that basically didn't make it a moratorium anymore. So what's begun to happen is we're seeing the courts right now processing evictions. They're out there doing everything except issuing the writ of possession. And what a writ of possession is the final declaration of eviction. You get your 3-day notice, you get your summons, you got to respond, you got to put the money into the registry of the court. You don't do that, he gets a judgment, the landlord gets a judgment. Once he has a judgment, he goes over to the sheriff's office, he gets a writ of possession. And once he gets his writ of possession, the sheriff comes out to serve you and tell you, get out. The only thing on hold right now are the last 2 pieces of that puzzle, the judgment and the writ of possession. So now what's happened is the courts are out in full force and they're processing evictions again. They're doing all the procedures to get people into the system. They're filing. The courts are backing up with so many cases being put out there to evict tenants. And they go through this story here and they talk about a guy who's down 3 or 4 months and again, you're talking about 2.6 million renter households and how much they're in trouble and how the confusion. But you have to understand right here, the only way that you're going to get some form of moratorium or delay, the only way is for you to put into your response, with veracity, of course, you can't lie, that you have been negatively impacted financially by the COVID virus, or whatever you want to call it. You got to do that. If you don't do that, it's going to go. So here in this article, they tell you what happens. You get the summons, you get 5 days to pay, you got to put it in escrow. If the person doesn't put in escrow, the judge issues a writ of possession, which grants the Miami police with the power to physically remove the tenant or homeowner from the property within 24 hours. That's it. So the only thing right now that is going to be of any solace to people who are in an eviction process is that the current, and when I say right now, the current writs of possession are not being issued. September 1, you can bet there's going to be a mad dash to the courthouse, and all of a sudden what you're going to see is a ton of writs of possessions being issued, and the only thing is how long does it take for the sheriff or the police to come knock on your door? Then you only got 24 hours. That's it. 24 hours at that point. And once that happens, Katie barred the door.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip of the Barry Cunningham Show. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, I talk about real estate and the trends and news that affect real estate and making money in real estate. So if you want to see us live, just go ahead and click the subscribe button below, or just click the link below, which is going to be a link to the archives of all of our live shows. And then we'll go ahead and cut these up and get them out there so you can see the clips of the various shows. But in any event, I'm glad you're watching. Please continue to watch and have a great day. Get out there and make some money. And we'll see you on the next episode.